years does it take to change a light bulb?
I have no idea.
None. Jason Kenney says it's fixed and conservatives just sit in the dark clapping. Welcome to
Drop Bear and Panda.
Save the World.
Episode
84, apparently.
It is.
Yeah, it's 84?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I know.
Yeah.
Doing this a while.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm really happy that we are back in Kensington Studio.
Oh, yeah. There's an art show right now. A socially distanced art show at C-Space.
Yep. And we just thought it would be nice to even just come back and be recording in the Drop Bear and Panda Kensington Studio because it's kind of comfy here and...
I don't have to leave the house.
And you don't have to leave the house.
I don't like leaving the house.
I know, because some weird happened this past week.
Yeah. So the last 2 weeks have been up and down. 4 steps up, 3 back, 1 up, 4 back, 2
sideways.
up, 1 back. Yeah. So my COVID experience changes day by day. So I've had a few really bad days about 10 days ago, about a week and a half ago, and to the point where Drop Bear here said, if you don't call the doctor, I'm taking you to emerge. So despite the fact that I tell everyone to go to the doctor, I don't practice what I preach all the time.
Weird.
Yeah. So you think that since I work there at the hospital, I would... It's just you don't want to go on your day off to where you work. So... So I called my doctor. They sent me for an urgent chest x-ray and blood work because they wanted to make sure that it was just a regular COVID disaster for the next 6 months and not the pneumonia coming back.
Yeah, because you don't want double pneumonia. Is that how you get double pneumonia? Or is that secondary pneumonia?
Secondary pneumonia is pneumonia caused by something else. So when I had pneumonia in January, it was secondary pneumonia to COVID.
Gotcha.
So...
The more you know.
Yeah, see. And so I don't have pneumonia, which is great, but also kind of frustrating because at least if I had pneumonia, I knew what it was and I could fix it.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like last Tuesday was bad. Wednesday was okay. Thursday was really bad, which is why I had to call the doctor. Friday was pretty good. Mm-hmm. So they gave me a puffer and they said, I don't know if this is going to work, but here's a puffer. And they've referred me to the post-COVID respiratory group. Damn. Whatever that means. I don't know what the wait list is like. So I might be way better by the time they call or they might call tomorrow.
Science in real time.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm like a science experiment to myself.
She blinded me with science.
It's frustrating and kind of fascinating.
Well, but you're also adding to the global knowledge of what's happening too. So there's that. Yeah,
it's just weird when everyone's different, right? So how do you put these together?
I don't know. There must be commonalities and groups and subsets and
2% get, anal leakage, but 93% just get a slight headache, right? I don't know.
Go headache.
Yeah. So I have my puffer. But when I went to pick up the puffer, it was my first time out in like real public, not counting going back to the hospital to work. And I had what I can only describe as a panic attack while I was waiting for it because I was watching these people walk the wrong way down the aisles and standing too close to each other and just, not really, I mean, they were all masked, but they didn't really seem to care. And I waited a long time for the pharmacist to talk to me because I've never used a puffer before. I don't know how to use it. And my breathing started getting more erratic and I felt like I was going to cry and the walls just seemed to get smaller and the noise seemed to get bigger and my heart was going really fast. And so now I'm also kind of crazy. Yeah. Because I now have to figure out what's legit COVID, what is panicking and what's, it's
like PTSD, but you're not post-traumatic, you're in-traumatic.
There are so many layers to this and it's very difficult. Yeah. So I don't know if this puffer works or whether it's just working mentally on me, but I think...
Have you had one today?
No, not yet.
There's been no puffing yet?
I might take one during this podcast because I've been talking a lot already. So
right? No, you haven't talked this much in like weeks.
I know.
Yeah, you're doing great though.
Well, I mean...
Way better than last podcast even. Like people will notice an improvement already, I'm sure.
Yeah, every 2 weeks they probably will. So, but the weekend that I had to get my chest x-ray done was the weekend that I wish I was with you.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to be anyway, because I still need my sleep.
Yep.
But we're going to discuss it now on the news.
DVP News right now.
We did, and it was so, okay. So we shot a commercial for Talnea Machining and Manufacturing, and it's been a long pre-production, mostly due to the fact that I got put into Camp COVID. It sort of took me out of the production way you got hit with COVID. There's layers, but we ended up finally getting to do the production side of the commercial, and it was really great. Like the, what can I tell you about it? We had 20 cast and crew.
Like, I wasn't there. I wasn't even a part of the planning because I was out for the count for all of January. So I really don't know much.
Well, I'll bring you up to speed then.
I knew stuff before I got sick. So I helped out with the script and the planning up to that point. But after that, it's like nothing.
So, what'd you do last night?
Nothing.
I know nothing, but what did you actually do?
Literally nothing. I sat in a chair and I stared.
Wow, that really is nothing.
I told you.
Yeah, well, we ended up with about 20 casting crew, like all told. So we had like voiceover done ahead of time. We've got, animation being done. We got sound design being done, but we also had like a bunch of people on set. And as for Talnea Machining and Manufacturing, they just went through a big rebranding where they went from Talnea Technologies to Talnea Machining and Manufacturing. Oh, and Jen is Panda's going to do a puff. Hold on.
I'm shaking it right now. This is very awkward.
I know, I'm like staring right at you. It's like you just took a bong hit.
It's like I'm trying not to cough, but I'm supposed to hold it in.
Yeah. And do you take one or two of those?
I've been taking 2.
Yeah.
So my heart might be racing in the next 30 seconds or so.
I'll wait until you do the next one.
Okay, this is just weird. Why don't you talk through it instead?
Yeah, okay. That's fair. Anyway, so they just went through a rebranding. Fuck. You're impossible to work with.
Hijo de la chingada. Is that a joint, man? That goddamn looks like a quarter pounder, man. Led Zeppelin. Man, be careful with that shit, man. Is it heavy stuff, man?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. They just went through a rebrand, and they're a machining manufacturing company here in Calgary. They've got all these gigantically huge machines that make stuff out of metal, and it's like really cool to see what these guys can do. And they like full production manufacturing of all sorts of cool stuff. Anyway, we did all their story ahead of time. We have all these, moving parts, and we had our crack production team, L&C Style, with us. We went so it was 2 days of shooting over the weekend. We hit 4 locations. So one, of course, was Talnea, where we did the majority of the shooting. But then we had people help us out in Calgary. We had Andy Fennell and his wife over at Gravity, a wine and espresso bar. They helped us out. Brent Boucher and his team over at Calgary Cycle City, and you'll get to meet Blue and Nick, at least Nick's hands as he passes a box in, and then you get to see Blue. And then, of course, we had Ryan, Dr. Ryan, over at Mitchell Eye Center, who helped us out as well. And not we didn't show the affiliation between each company. It was just locations that people helped us out with, and characters and stuff like that. And it was really, really great. So I can't thank them enough. We ended up with tons of footage, and we're in post-production now. And Luis is just getting to the edit side of it before we get it over to animation, and then get
Luis from L&C, right?
Yeah. Luis from L&C. Then over to Chad Blaine for final sound design, and then Kristen Loader for 3D animation to bring it all together.
So, filming a commercial, we were actually talking about this earlier. It's the same as basically filming an entire film. It's just you shoot it over 2 days, but it's for like 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Well, but I mean, I think this one we're going to end up with an extended cut and then a couple shortcuts out of it. But it's like you basically put together a small town full of people, talented people that come together for a very short period of time and then, you know, disappear off into the ether later. It's really quite a fascinating experience to be a part of. And recently I'd seen some things where people were asking about commercials and how to do it for small business. And, you know, my advice has always been, you know, plan for making those videos that look like they're just sort of, you know, off the shelf and, you know, hardly, you know, had a thought put behind them. Take a lot of effort and a lot of people to pull these things together. And they're expensive. And they're expensive because you're 20 people for a 1 minute, you know, commercial in 4 different locations. For as an example, it's not an inexpensive endeavor.
No,
right.
We shot a couple years ago, just like what you would think a really simple, like educational video for someone.
Yeah.
We hired 2 actors to go through like this educational stuff, but we still had like, I mean, we didn't have a crew of 20, but there was still like 5 of us behind the camera trying to get everything done. And it was just, you know, somebody talking at the camera, but it still took, you know, 5 or 6 people on the other side of the camera to do that. Right.
Or you look at
not to mention the script writing and all the editing afterwards.
Yeah. Cause pre-production is like, takes so much to get ready for the shoot. And then the shoot happens very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And then post-production is a monster as well.
Yeah.
You look at even the music video we did for the High Strung Downers, which, you know, had, God, how many people did we have
like
on
100?
Set?
I think I bought food for like 100 people.
Yeah. And then we had probably 83 camera setups, you know, and this was shot over a day and a half. Like it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a really interesting animal to work on film. There's a lot of stuff happening with like Keep Alberta Rolling and the Calgary Society of Independent Filmmakers doing a lot of stuff. There's people in the city doing stuff all the time. And it's really something. It's really interesting to be on the inside of it and be behind the camera, you know, to figure out how to plan all this stuff and then make it come to life.
Yeah. The one thing I've noticed about filming, and I'm assuming it's like everywhere, but especially in Calgary and Alberta, is hope for favors, but never, ever ask for them and never expect them. Yeah. Right.
Well yeah. Cause there's a lot of things that happen where people are just like, you know, I'll do it for free. But yeah, that's always nice when it does happen because it certainly saves budget. But I mean, we make sure that everybody gets paid something somehow on our sets.
It's a very small community here. Yeah. So, I mean, I would like to be able to film elsewhere. We've been talking about filming on location in like Costa Rica and Europe and Maui and stuff for years.
Yeah, we were in Maui, getting ready to go to Maui.
1 year ago.
And we went and did a whole bunch of location scouting there and sort of figuring out what we'd be shooting there.
Oh, man.
I miss it.
Maui would be so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one really hard thing about this pandemic, besides like, you know, getting sick and stuff, is just not being able to travel.
I know.
Like I miss...
And we travel all over the place.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to. I'm thinking that I'm not sure that I want to go to Australia though. I used to.
That's fair.
But it's a scary place, and now it's even scarier because you felt the need to tell me about this new news.
Yeah. So the new news is that they found another species of walking shark.
This is a new one?
Yeah. So there have been others. There are, I want to say, I could be wrong, 8 different species of walking shark that basically from Indonesia down to Australia, and they just found this new one in Australia, a walking shark.
Hold up. So I knew that there were sharks with little feet.
Yeah.
But I thought you sent me the article, which I admit I didn't read because I thought you were just trolling me, about... It's just that they knew that there was more of them, meaning like that they just found more, but you mean like more species, therefore like super more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So I'll maybe get this wrong. So, marine biologists, send us letters, but amulet sharks, or they're kind of like
Amulet, like they've got this gemstone on their chest,
yes,
and
just
they're like
that.
power, pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, they're just like the runes from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Amulet, whatever. That's what they're going to be. Amulet sharks, carpet sharks. And they basically what they can do, because they exist in these, they walk across reefs to get to food sources.
Christopher Reeve.
And so they use their fins. Their fins have adapted and evolved to be able to sort of walk slowly. Now, they haven't learned how to run yet, which is good. But
Drive a tank.
They can exist outside of water, so in very low oxygen environments for them. So they've learned how to, supply the oxygen they have in their bloodstream to certain parts of their brain, and obviously for motor function, but they can walk on land.
I'm walking, yes indeed, I'm talking about you and me.
So there's sharks in volcanoes, which I never go in, so I'm not really worried about sharks
fair.
and volcanoes, although I am kind of worried about how strong they are. So when they figure out how to build their volcano plasma jet fighters, that's going to be a problem.
Yep.
And now we've got sharks that can walk.
Yep.
Soon they'll be driving tanks.
Yep.
And airplanes and
It's only a matter of time.
Sharknadoes and space sharks.
I think, because we're not in space, we really don't have to worry about that too much.
But you've seen Star Wars, right? We'll be the next Alderaan.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, sharks are okay, here's my thing about sharks.
Yeah.
They are a perfect species, not unlike the xenomorph alien.
Oh.
You still don't understand what you're dealing with, do you? Perfect organism. Its structural perfection is matched only by its hostility.
You admire it.
I admire its purity. A survivor. Unclouded by conscience, remorse, or delusions of morality.
Look, I've heard enough of this, and I'm asking you to pull the plug.
Last word.
What?
I can't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies.
The perfect killing machine.
Exactly. So I totally respect them.
Yeah.
It's just the big scary ones are big and scary.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, these little land sharks, there's a picture of one.
They're pretty cute.
And he's freaking adorable.
Yeah.
He looks like he's got this
little dirt face.
Yeah. He's pretty cute.
Yeah. And when we were in...
Until he bites your hand off.
Well, I don't know.
Finger by finger.
You'd have to maybe trip and fall and get your leg stuck in a clam or something, like one of those giant clams that they, used to get Tarzan all the time.
Do I have to be scared of clams now as well?
Oh my God. Yes. If I've learned nothing from television in the 70s, it's be afraid of clams.
It's a wonder that I go into the ocean at all, really.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But when we were in Maui, just as a thing, I went diving with sharks. It wasn't one of those dives where you go feeding sharks, which I think is stupid. It's we were just dove in a place where there are sharks, and they're so cute. They're huge and they're curious, but they're adorable.
I don't think I could do it.
They're
there's no way.
Big, wet, pointy dogs.
Nope.
Yeah. And I was told that if their pectoral fins are wide, then they're just checking stuff out. But if the pectoral fins are down and narrow, it means you're about to get your face eaten.
Yeah, because they're ready for stealth mode.
Yeah.
Zippity zap.
Yeah. Bam. Shark attack.
Zippity zap, shark attack. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well.
Anyway, so there's that. Walking sharks.
Note,
Thanks, Australia.
Yeah. So there's no point in going to Australia if I am not going to go in the water. So.
I feel that we have to go to Australia now. I mean, we talk about Australia a lot.
COVID won't kill them because they don't really have it, but the sharks will.
Well, because everything else like eats COVID in Australia. COVID is afraid of Australia because they're just like, what the fuck?
Because of all the spiders and screaming shark feet guys. And all right.
Okay, moving on.
Okay. Well, we can go from that to talking about flower fights.
Now it's time for Drop Bear and Panda's Reviews.
So we do spend some time in evenings catching up on shows.
Because there's nothing else to do.
Right. Well, we're making good use of our air fryer, which is good. We're making some healthy food, which is good. And sometimes we sit down and we watch a show about food.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
there's been some hits and some misses.
Yeah. So I decided to make a and I'm not sure that all three of these are Netflix originals.
Mm-hmm.
I think Crazy Delicious is.
Yeah.
But 2 out of 3 of these are food shows because we really like watching food shows. You do, for sure.
And would you say that 2 out of 3 are terrible or 3 out of 3 are awesome?
I'd say 1 out of 3 were entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, there are problems with all of them, but Crazy Delicious, Sugar High, and The Big Flower Fight. Because I was like, I need brain candy.
Yeah.
I need to not watch anything sad and terrible. We haven't even finished the last episode of Chernobyl yet because
it's just
it was just so sad.
So give me your one sentence on each one of these shows. Like, give us a synopsis.
Okay, well, I can do that for you. So
Crazy Delicious. Don't read it. I just wanted you to say like what it is that you thought about it. Like, give me the Panda synopsis of the show.
Okay, so Crazy Delicious is 3 chefs are brought into this weird ass set where it's a living garden, but also everything is made of food.
Yeah.
Also, like almost everything, like you can pick a leaf off a tree and eat it because it's actually spun sugar.
Or a martini glass.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
And there are 3 judges. Their names are Heston Blumenthal from Fat Duck, Carla Hall from Top Chef, and Nicholas Ekstead and Jade Adams from Good Omens. The host.
Yeah.
They are the food gods and they judge the food.
Yeah.
And what these 3 chefs have to do is they're not actually, I shouldn't say chefs because they're actually cooks because they're not pros.
Yeah. They're like home cooks kind of thing.
Exactly. But they're just really good.
Yeah. And
they have to make certain foods, but with a crazy twist.
Yeah. They have to reimagine
something. So for instance, the first course would be you have to reimagine the apple.
Right.
So then everything has to taste like apple and have apple in it, but
it can't look like an apple.
It turns into this sculpture of like apple pie, but the crust actually isn't crust. It's made
meat.
of it's anyways, they look really pretty or something will fail. And then the second one is you have to reimagine the hamburger.
Yeah.
And then the third, if you make it to the third round, is you have to do like an entire meal, like a picnic or something. So it has to have all the elements of a picnic, but they all look weird. They're all kind of crazy. And I actually found this show quite entertaining.
I liked it. I don't even care what other people think. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So quirky and weird.
Yeah, the timing was pretty good.
Yeah.
Nobody put each other down. There wasn't any of that. Like,
yeah, it was a supportive show, which was nice to see.
Anna
for a
from
change.
Delaware, was swearing at Bob from, London because everybody seemed very supportive.
Her souffle flopped and his rose and.
Yeah, it was very nice. It was very simple. It was quite cute. I really quite liked it.
What's the other one? Now, synopsis, 1 sentence.
Crazy silly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was good for 6 episodes or whatever it was.
So, and just to jump in here, so we went from that where we were just like, oh, that was pretty cool. Like, what a neat show that was to watch. And then we found, because we had watched the glass blowing one, which we really liked.
Yeah.
And that's a Canadian production.
Yeah, called Blown Away.
Yeah. And then we watched this one. It was still like, oh, Crazy Delicious, pretty cool. And then we started watching one about flowers.
Was it flowers or the sugar one that we went to next?
Flowers first.
Flowers. So we went to the next show called The Big Flower Fight, where the flowers are famed floral designer Kristen Griffith oh gosh, I can't even pronounce their name, so I'm not going to even try.
Yeah,
but we know nothing about flowers, but they have to build these giant flower sculptures that you would see
installations in
these giant gardens in, I don't know, wherever they were.
Yeah.
It was awkward and
not everybody got to, be sort of interviewed or talked about. You didn't know any backstory,
Well, they gave backstory, but only to like 4
that's what
people.
I mean. Like out of 8 or however many there were. It was weird that the other ones were just ignored entirely. And you're just like, okay.
Yeah,
so they kind of followed the top 2 and the bottom 2, and everybody in the middle just got nothing.
Just got ignored. Yeah. I didn't like it. It was really impressive what you can do with flowers.
Truly. Yeah.
But we decided that we didn't care.
Yeah. It was like at the end of it, we were just like, I'm not invested in this at all.
No, not at all. We did not care. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it 53%, which I agree with.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. It was boring.
Yeah. And there's no story. That was there didn't seem to be any, you don't need drama to have story, but you do want to sort of understand like how this stuff happens and why it's important. And
yeah, I appreciate all the hard work they do, but this is going to sound like really, really bad, but with cooking shows, you sort of watch how they make things to turn it into other things.
Yeah.
The flowers was just, they made the outline. They
which
picked
were already
flowers.
Given to them.
Yeah, they picked flowers and put the flowers in it.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't anything to it.
Yeah.
So
agreed. And they picked the frames that they're like, here's a butterfly frame. And some guys actually tweaked the frame and went and had it re-welded, which was cool.
Yeah. It would have been good for like a one-off
totally
thing.
Okay.
And then we were like, let's go back to food and watch Sugar High, because it looked kind of like the blown glass thing, because blown glass looks like melted sugar and melted sugar looks like blown glass.
Yeah, we figured this was going to be a safe bet.
So Sugar High is not to be confused with Sugar Rush.
Right.
Sugar Rush is apparently a much better show, according to...
Maybe we'll check it out.
Yeah, IMDb and stuff. But Sugar High was so dull.
Well, and we had mixed opinions on this because there was elements of it that I quite liked. But again, it had some weird ass pacing.
Well, it just started off. They were like, welcome to Sugar High. The cooks are starting now. And you're like, what? What are they? I don't even, okay.
But I mean,
the pacing was just weird.
It was, but absolutely wild what people can do with candy and sugar. But it's also horrifying how much sugar goes into candy, which I know sounds stupid to say, but until you actually see them pour literally a bucket of sugar into something and then turn it into like a bonbon, you're like,
or like one flower petal. So
my pancreas.
Sugar, oh honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you.
I like that it looked like the blown glass, like how they made everything is incredible. I also kept thinking about what a waste it was going to be.
Well, we felt the same way with Crazy Delicious too. Like, what a waste of food. Like, I hope that excess food goes somewhere.
I hope it goes to the crew.
Yeah.
The crew at least, but
like, who do you give a bunch of sugar to? Like, you can't really donate sugar.
No,
can you?
and I wouldn't want to eat it either.
But yeah, they're statues, which is like, what happens to this?
Yeah, no, like, and they were beautiful.
Yeah.
It clearly takes talent because, like, I can't bake.
Engineering and chemistry.
I can't even bake without. I can cook without a recipe book, but I can't. I can't bake without a recipe book. Because if you screw up the baking soda or the amount of sugar and heat, then you're totally screwed.
Yeah, baking is more chemistry than anything. Cooking, I think, is more art than chemistry, but people may disagree.
But yeah, sugar high, it was weird. It was dumb. I didn't like it at all.
So we're looking for our next great show to take us away. Yeah. Oh, and look, snowblowers.
Yeah. So that's the one thing that we don't miss.
So if you would, send us a letter to Send us a letter. Send us an email to info@dropbearandpanda.tv or hit us up on Facebook and let us know what the next show should be that we review.
Now, when we move to Maui or Costa Rica or Greece, which are the 3 places on our list, obviously some are much more expensive than the other. Yeah. If we can't buy our own place, we might just build a little house. Yeah. Because when the climate is nice, it's not like Calgary where you need snowblowers.
People
you can be outside all the time.
We talked about this last year when we did this podcast in Kensington Studio. This is kind of, I think, our first time back at Kensington Studio for some time. Yeah. I don't miss the snowblowers. Everybody in this neighborhood has a frickin' snowblower.
Yeah, I don't get it. But we might build a cabin.
That's right.
Or a tiny house. Yeah. Or maybe not as tiny as these cabins because they're pretty small.
Yeah.
Do you want to stop?
Yeah. Okay, so we just had to take a break because the snowblower was getting ridiculous.
Yeah, it scared the cat out of the window.
It's like a jetpack on that guy's back.
Yeah.
He just flies around the neighborhood like blowing snow everywhere. It's kind of funny.
If it was a jetpack, I'd be blowing everyone's snow.
Hey-o.
Yeah.
We needed to find a show that was actually spoke to us.
Yeah. But we didn't want a show for our brains.
Yeah. It's got to be candy floss.
So we found...
Yeah, Cabins in the Wild.
I found Cabins in the Wild.
You did?
I did. It was me.
And it takes place in Wales.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's from 2017, so it's not new.
Yeah.
And the premise is Travel Wales or Wales Travel...
Whatever.
Yeah.
Association or...
Wanted to make a pop-up hotel.
Right. To entice people to come visit Wales and experience what Wales has to offer.
Exactly. Yeah. So for £11,000, you would get the chance to contribute to this hotel by building a tiny house, which is they called a cabin, that can be moved on a trailer.
Yeah.
So
and put different places all throughout Wales.
Exactly. So it would be like in a certain part of Wales for like a week or a month and then moved somewhere else.
Yeah. So it would get people to travel throughout Wales, see the different places and check out the different things. And I think there's 8 competitors and 4 different competitions. Right?
Yeah, there were 4 or 5 episodes, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, because they ended
4.
up, like the first one was about dragons.
Yeah.
And then the second one.
Dragons and industrial.
Yeah.
And.
Then there's feats of engineering, which was the last one.
Feats of engineering. And then.
I can't remember the other one.
Oh my gosh.
But it was basically.
Myth, like King Arthur.
Right. Yeah.
Mythy stuff.
Yeah. So they basically had a bunch of people put in their proposals. And they chose 8 and then paired them off to go head to head.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of them, oh my God, brilliant.
Oh, we won't give it away, but the winner deserved to win.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So excited to see it.
We were also very surprised with some of the winners of the episodes because we were rooting for...
one specific, and we were just like, there's no way that one's going to win.
And they won.
Yeah.
And we have no idea how. Yeah. But, I mean, obviously, they probably wanted their hotels to be... very different experience, right? So,
and I think we should follow up and find out, how this went. Even call them up, the Travel Bureau of Wales, and be like, "How was that?" And cool thing, I could actually understand, 90% of what they said.
Now I've discovered the secret to the Welsh accent isn't so much a phrase; it's more a state of mind. To do a good Welsh accent, you've just got to sound confused. Whose coat is that jacket?
Yeah,
Because the Welsh accent is something.
Oh, yeah. So Dick Strawbridge, and craftsman Will Hardy tour 8 unique cabins built for a pop-up hotel in Wales.
Yeah.
And they constructed their own number 9.
Yeah, which was pretty wild.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you don't give a crap about like constructing tiny homes that look amazing from the inside and outside, then I mean it's probably not for you. But
each one of these things, they had an £11,000 budget, and it's incredible what they were able to create,
which is about 19.5 Canadian.
Yeah,
I think
now. Which I assume that they got a lot of favors. But they also got to highlight some very talented manufacturers and artisans and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, and the nice thing is too is for Travel Wales is they had to incorporate like everything UK and everything Welsh, right? Yeah. So there was one cabin that had like handmade like Welsh tapestry and the leather came from this little leather shop that got their leather from these Welsh cows and like really, really cool stuff. And Wales is beautiful.
Oh my God, is it ever gorgeous? I didn't realize how gorgeous it was, but it's like rolling green pastoral hills and super cool, scary, craggy forests.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah. I've never been there, but I remember when I was in the UK and England, they had said that Wales was like the armpit of the UK. But I mean, looking at it,
I'd live in that armpit.
I would disagree. But I also watched a show called oh gosh, I can't even remember it, on Netflix like a while back, and they made Wales look very, very sad.
Oh,
so
well, I will say that the Stereophonics are from Wales, and I quite like them. So there you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of Wales, we could talk about New South Wales back in Australia.
It's time
for Drop Baron Panda to save the world.
Talk about saving the world. How do you quantify saving the world?
It's very difficult because
and it's a work in progress, right? It's not just one thing.
Yeah.
But it's the little things. For example,
like sometimes it's just step by step.
Oh,
inch by inch, foot by foot.
Well played. Damn. Well, Australia, we forgive you for the walking sharks. Well, actually, Panda forgives you for the walking sharks.
Both have to do with feet.
Yeah. But there's in the news, there was this little baby koala, orphaned koala, and they discovered that he had a missing foot. So a couple people got together. A koala's helper, Marley Christian, from Friends of the Koala, and a local dentist prosthesist. Is that how you pronounce that?
I'm not a fan of dentists either, but I mean, maybe Australian dentists are pretty cool.
Yeah. A dental prosthesist. Prosthesist, John Dolman. And he helped make a little prosthesis for this little koala bear.
He's got a quote here that says, "People do manufacture prosthetics for animals."
See, it's hard.
Yeah, I've seen them done for ducks, dogs, and cats, but no one seemed to want to have a go with this little fella.
Yeah, and then Christian goes on to say that his entire demeanor had changed, and now he crawls, runs, climbs, and plays. And the boot has even corrected a dangerous curvature that was developing in his spine.
Yeah.
So because, some really cool people in a really cool country decided to help a little koala, live a better life and maybe go on and inspire others, we would like to send you some socks and our thanks for saving the world.
Speaking of socks.
Yeah.
We're going to hear a sock jingle and then we're going to come back to the koala.
With my sock rockets on, run the block and sound to the break it down. Buy one pair and they'll give away 3. Share the cozy toes with those that need the socks free. It's 1, 2, Mississippi 3, Mississippi 4. Get your sock rocket socks rocking on the dance floor. Buy a solo pair, get a sexy sock subscription. Call the Rocket Sock and Pickle when you need a sock subscription.
So I don't know what kind of socks we're going to send to Australia yet.
Yeah.
Right now it's
well, they're
going into fall, so they'll need some socks.
That's right. And they're going to get there fast because it's coming right from Sock Rocket.
Yeah, sockrocket.ca. You can buy every pair
that you buy.
My brain.
COVID brain.
Yeah.
Every pair that you buy from Sock Rocket, they donate 3 pairs to people in need.
They also do a Sock Rocket Sock of the Month Club as well, which is great. So it's not very much that we can do, but it's kind of funny that this theme of this podcast seems to be feet.
Yeah. It's all about, but
socks and shark feet and a stumpy koala foot.
What kind? Maybe he's a pirate.
The koala?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Pirate koala.
I did want to say that Christian did manage to find an American company that specialized in animal prosthesis, but they couldn't find a design that worked really well. This design for this little koala is very simple. It's legit, just like a little stump.
Yeah, it's like one of those little thumb things that you put on your hand to
turn paper. It kind of looks like a pink orange colored eraser a little bit, but he totally looks like a pirate. Like he's got this little like pirate foot. So I just want to say that it's adorable, and the koala's name is Triumph.
Oh.
Yeah. So now that I've turned Drop Bear into a weepy mess.
I've been Drop Bear.
I'm Panda.
It's been Drop Bear and Panda.
Save the world.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, Sock Rocket.
This podcast was recorded at the Drop Bear and Panda Kensington Studio.
Special thanks to Emery Cords for the kick-ass theme music.
Don't forget to subscribe.
It's Drop Bear and Panda, yeah. Drop Bear and Panda, yeah. Drop Bear and Panda, coming at you, Panda.